9-1 in the first half against the Swans, and 2 goals 5 to 7-9 after half-time.
Yeah, it certainly was a game of two halves. Freo, like they did last week against West Coast, jumped out of the blocks and really moved the ball quickly forward. Subin kicking a goal there, Sutcliffe getting on the end of one. But eventually, you always wondered, what is Sydney going to do? When are they going to come back? They're going to surely have to at least level it out here, but they really started to dominate. They kicked some great goals from set shots. These weren't easy shots at goal, but they started to nail them. Tippett kicks a real good one from deep on the boundary. Gary Rowan had a big impact when he came on as the sub. His pace was electrifying as the speed had gone out of the game. That's the goal from Tippett that started getting the Fremantle supporters pretty nervous when they were just looking for that settling goal to sort of nail the game, and it finally came for them, but not without some pretty nervous moments.
Three things
that I learned. The Freo, the last 2 weeks, really fast starters, but they have faded in games. Sam Reid hit back and showed his class. He had a big impact in that second half. And the purple rinse set are still flying. Pavlich, Sandy Lands, McLachlan and Johnson, still key players.
Age hasn't wearied them at all, Ethan.
No, it's amazing that. I mean, Dustin Fletcher's going to play as a 40-year-old. Shortly, and I don't think I'd ever believed I would have said that. But some of the players are getting into their 30s and still performing OK. You know, you're never quite sure how long that's going to last for, but the Fremantle and the Hawthorn players in particular, the plus 30s, are still playing really well.
How was McLachlan and Buddy, Woosh?
It was a great contest, yeah. And McLachlan's had to step up with Dawson out. He would normally let Dawson take the real keys, but McLachlan's winding the clock back. And it was a great contest. Buddy still competed really well, even early days when the ball wasn't getting up there. Buddy was the one that was keeping Sydney going. But I would say it was about an even contest. He didn't get it right off the leash, and McLachlan was a real good contributor.
And we spoke about Nat Fyfe earlier being the new king of Perth. How was he last night?
Outstanding. He just wants to get the ball in his hands and then work out what I'm going to do. Even in real heavy traffic, you can just see he just wants to shrug blokes off and run through and then let things happen. So it's one of those great moments. Cricketers talk about it when they're in the zone. They just keep making runs. He's in that zone at the moment. He just hunts the footy and things start to happen.
Leigh has an enormous amount of influence at this network. He's put 2 full-time cameramen with Nat and 3 producers just looking after his life. Every week we just love talking about it. But he's now at a level, isn't he? I mean, Gary has been there for a long time. Is he the closest to Gary now of taking the baton?
Well, different type of player, but I think at the moment he's probably the most influential player in the game. I think that's probably fair to say that all of a sudden. But it's more the size. I mean, he's really good in the air, so he can take the big grab, but he's fantastic at ground level, and he's got he's thick and he's strong, and he's got really good skills. So he's just an unbelievable sort of freakish package, I think, of physical talent.
They send him forward, so they send him forward now, and everyone gets out of his way, like they used to do with Gary Ablett Senior. And blokes are very nervous as they're kicking that ball in. He's a hard man to stop. What's
the mood in the West now? It was always the Eagles, but is Fremantle sort of creeping and encroaching, and the next generation are choosing the Dockers?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know about the next generation, but Fremantle's support has been growing since they started, and it's at its best. They've just cracked 50,000 members for the first time, so they're pretty happy with where they're at. The Eagles still have more members, but while Fremantle are in this current form and this real premiership window, they are the real flavour of the town.
Just congratulations being sent to Anna and to Josh Kennedy. They had a son, Emilio John Kennedy, so well done. And seemingly it didn't affect Josh too much last night. He got a fair bit of the football. Yeah, he was still stronger, especially in the second half. The Sydney mids started to get to work because the Fremantle mids had looked unstoppable in the first half. And that's where the game really happened, from which midfield was on top.
Woosha, there was a goal review decision, 5 minutes to go, could have brought the Swans into 2-point deficit. We see it slow down here. It's still really hard to see. I think it hit the post. Comes in. If we go through again and have a real close look, the umpires review it. What was your view on that?
Yeah, look, it seemed to happen really quickly. Brett Rosebery, the umpire there, looks like he's a bit over it. But it was a real critical part of the game, and they seemed to... obviously, the reviewer was pretty confident because he made the call fairly quickly, but there seemed to be some doubt whether it came off Johnson's leg or whether it did hit the post. So what do we learn out of Saturday night football in Adelaide and in the West? The 4 sides who we expect to go deep,
we're still just thinking they're all brilliant sides and it'll come down to September action.
Yeah, and a lot of the scoring Leigh said earlier was that fast rebound scoring. Hawthorn and Fremantle and Sydney both had a lot more inside 50s but lost the games. So the other team was scoring very cleanly on fast rebounds.
One thing hits me about Fremantle, because Sandlands, they're now converting Sandlands' aerial supremacy into clearances. I mean, that first bit of the game, every time the ball went into the air, he got it and the Fremantle ground level players took it away. That's a kind of asset, if that continues, that's hard for any other side to cope with.
And I reckon if you played those two games in the opposite states next Saturday night, you'd have no idea what would happen.
Yep.
Yeah, even back at the same grounds, you know, I think you would be finding it hard to pick how the games were going to pan out.
Yeah, great football last night. Our Perth viewers, Western Australia